Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about an easy way to clear out the Mind Trial, which is the boss rush game mode, with any character, without even really having that much experience on the character either. Before I go into the tactic build and how to do the run, I want to mention something real quick, in that a lot of the special effects from stuff like Mind Crystals and Black Markets and stuff don't transfer over to the other game modes. So if you have something like Violent Impact, for example, it won't work there. The only things that transfer are your raw stats, like max HP, your max MP, HP mixtures, and then I can't remember if escape deaths transfer over or not. It's been so long since I've actually used them, but you shouldn't really need escape deaths regardless. So while you're setting up your mind crystals, that's something you might want to think about a little bit, is just like taking the extra HP, that way you have more to use in the trial, and taking more max MP. Other things that are good for this are discount, that way you can just buy more HP and MP and potentials and tactics from the shops. Discount is just very, very good all around as a Mind Crystal, and especially when you're trying to set up a character for boss rush. Another thing that's really good, if you can actually use it to perfect a boss or two, the more bosses you can perfect, the better. But even if you just get a couple bosses with this, having the extra money for shops will help out. And then it's the same thing to consider when you're taking like black markets and stuff. If you're taking a black market effect that's like increasing a bunch of tactic damage, it's not going to carry over to the boss rush, but if you get the black market that increases a bunch of HP from perfect clearing spaces and you can stack that up, that is something that's going to make the boss rush significantly easier. None of that stuff should be really required. As long as you can get this tactics build put together, you shouldn't really have too much of a problem on any character in the game, even if you don't really know how to play that character. I'm pretty confident in that. So with that being said, let's go over and take a look at the tactic build next. For the tactics, I've made sure to set things up in the most new player friendly way as possible, so you don't need to inherit anything specific from your legacy characters. You just need to make sure you get this full build put together by the end of the run. And by full build, I mostly mean make sure you have all the red tactics active. You don't even need all of the lightning orb upgrades, for example, so if you're having a hard time getting the full build together, you can skip those. You don't need the final upgrade from cold at all. The one thing that you do need as a specific upgrade is durable black hole. That way the black hole slow will last longer, but otherwise any of the upgrades that I show are just recommendations, they're not required. Also, if you can ascend durable black hole, that's ideal, but if you can't get it ascended, just having it at all will help. The rest of the tactics, aside from black hole slow, are just to set up a chain reaction effect where whenever the lightning orb hits something, it will trigger all three of these other red tactics and do a lot of DPS on its own. So even if you don't know how to play the character effectively, as long as you're just standing next to an enemy with the lightning orbs active, you get quite a lot of DPS out of just the tactics alone. That's why I've went with this specific build on top of the black hole slow. So I'll show the full build on screen for a second. And now let's talk about legacy characters real quick. If you want to set this up with Jin, Jin will also give you a little bit more safety. His freeze active won't really matter that much because you're getting the black hole slow anyways, but his passive will give you invincibility for a couple seconds when you dodge an attack, which can be useful if both of your black hole slows are down. You can get triple dash, I would recommend that, and that's a very easy way to activate Jin passive without even really needing to know the specific timing of attacks. And then if you do want to unlock Ragna's second legacy skill early on, it's not required, but it does give you another way that you can heal back damage if you ever end up taking damage during the run. You'll be able to heal this back pretty easily because the bosses won't really be able to fight back during Black Hole Slow. So you can see that this Lambda in my example has 1869 rating. A lot of that rating is coming from just having high HP and MP due to the mind crystals and the mind levels that I have. So this could even be like down to 1500 rating. It could be a lot lower, and it would still be able to clear. 645 isn't fast by any means, but it's not bad at all either for how low of potentials this character has. This character only has 10 potentials. It's basically the bare minimum of what I would want to DPS as Lambda. But like I said, even if you are somehow on even lower potential count, the tactics alone are the most important part, because they can DPS for you, no matter how weak the actual character is. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the final boss fight of the boss rush run, and you'll be able to see just how easy it is with these effects. So once you get into the actual gameplay of things, it's pretty simple. You throw out your legacy skill, and then it's going to summon this massive version of the black hole, which slows everything in its range. It might as well just be a permanent stun, because the amount that it slows makes enemies a complete joke. They do slightly move, but not to the point of where they can really damage you. You do need to be careful occasionally that some enemy hitboxes will get stuck as being active while they're in the slow, and they'll constantly damage you if you stand in them, but that doesn't happen too often, only with specific bosses like the Eye boss. And then the other part of the build that I talked about was that anytime you stand next to an enemy, the lightning orbs will hit things for you automatically, and then with the red tactics, the lightning orbs are automatically spawning light spears and thunderbolts to do a lot of DPS just on their own. And then if you ever get into a situation like this, where a boss is doing an attack where Black Hole Slow won't help you, like the Ori Blazers that are going on right now, or you can't get both bosses in the slowing field or something like that, or you just want a really safe way to be during the downtime of Black Hole Slow, all you really have to do is get Triple Dash from potentials and spam that. Triple Dash will keep you very safe for a long time. You do need to watch out for certain boss moves that have a purple exclamation mark. Those will bypass the immunity on your dashes, but they're not too common either. So as long as you keep in mind those really few things, you shouldn't have too much of a problem clearing the Mind Trial, even on pretty low-rated characters, and even without knowing how to play characters. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.